Anna joins us as a lead seller success manager at Yardline, and she brings to the table quite a few number of years worth of small business and direct-to-consumer e-commerce insights, having been an integral part of growing her own family business that was focused on beauty brands. Besides being a well-established seller herself, Anna is also touts years of agency experience launching, managing, and growing brands on Amazon and Walmart. And as a seller success lead, Anna is an expert on operational efficiencies and best practices for expediting growth and increasing profits. So we welcome Anna Rose.
Hi, thank you for the great intro. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a little presentation for us today. Awesome. So today we're just going to go over how to scale smart. So really actions that you should take once you secure growth funding. So I know that I just had a great intro, so thank you for that. But just to provide a little bit of more context here. So my name is Anna Rose. I am a seller success manager at Yardline. Our seller success team is comprised of experienced e-commerce sellers, and our day-to-day really consists of working directly with our clients to determine how they can get the best possible ROI from their growth capital. So everyone on our seller success team is an e-commerce seller and entrepreneur themselves. So we really speak to our combined experience and strategies to really help our clients grow. So excited to share a little bit more about how we do that with you today. But first, a little bit more about Yardline. So Yardline provides unrestricted growth capital to e-commerce entrepreneurs, meaning our clients can spend it however they see fit for their business. We do give them guidance on really how to utilize it in a way that gives them a great return, which we'll talk about a bit more today. But as I mentioned earlier, our clients are put in touch with our seller success team, where we provide them with tools and resources and insights to help them grow. So I'll share some of those insights with you today. So when determining how to utilize growth capital, there's obviously a lot of different metrics that you can look at and take into account. So of the ones listed here, do we think that the number one metric to be focusing on when you decide how to use capital, should it be cost per unit, cost of acquiring a customer, cost of goods sold, or ROI? If you guessed ROI, surprise, surprise, you are correct. So it's important to always keep ROI in mind, because you will eventually have to pay off that growth capital. And you want to make sure that when you do, it's really only a small portion of everything that you've generated. So today we're really going to touch on how you can achieve that high return from growth capital. So to do that, we're going to look at all 4 areas of business. So inventory and logistics, staffing and partnerships, advertising and promotion, and product and marketplace expansion. And while looking at these 4 areas of your business, the most efficient way to do it, and the way that we do it with our clients, is through 5 critical analyses. So we will cover all 5 of those today. So jumping right into the first one, unit economics. I'm sure you've heard the term before, but here it really means analyzing the cost to revenue ratio in relation to one particular unit or SKU or product in your portfolio. Most companies really do look at the high level P&L rather than individual product levels. But understanding your business at a granular level can really help to uncover opportunities for optimization that you might have not been able to recognize when looking at the top line business. Really looking at the individual SKU, the COGS for that SKU, advertising costs for that SKU. If you're on Amazon, the fulfillment fee, the referral fee, just looking at how that affects individual products can help you to identify potential SKUs that might be underperforming, and just ultimately ensures that you're steering your company in a direction that ensures all aspects are driving profit and growth. In my opinion, unit economics is really what creates a strong foundation for a sustainable business long term. So as other things start to come up, if your unit economics are strong, you're able to kind of combat them with more confidence. So now that we really know and understand what unit economics are, let's look at a real life example of it in practice. So these are all examples today that we'll cover that we have covered with our clients in the past as well. So this one is specific to margin optimization. So step one is to, of course, do that analysis that we were just talking about and determine the margin on a per product or per SKU level. This is important because you might find out that one of your products has an 80% margin and the other products in your portfolio have a 20% margin. Step two is then to align that margin split with your goals. This will really aid you in your business planning or strategy. Just having this more information is going to make you feel a lot more confident and help steer you in a direction when making decisions for your business. And then step three is to apply capital. So applying capital is really what puts all of this into practice, whether that's doubling down on advertising for those high margin products or identifying ways to decrease the costs and increase the margin on those low performing products. But in either case, understanding that breakdown will really help to inform what important business decisions to make as you move forward and grow your business. So the second analysis here is COGS and supply chain. So taking a deep dive into COGS and supply chain is important because there is almost always room for optimization, whether that be through time, like lead time, or costs. Even if you think, hey, I have really strong lead time, great costs, there's probably room for it to be optimized a bit more if you take a really deep dive into it. So what we really look for in this analysis is specific areas that have long lead time or require a lot of money. And when doing this analysis with our clients, we actually have them request a BOM or bill of materials from their supplier to really see a breakdown of the costs and lead times of their products and the costs and lead time of the subcomponents of their products as well, which I'll get into in the next slide. But this might seem very granular, but it's the extra step that a lot of business owners aren't taking that will help you push your business forward and maybe help you get even a tiny bit more margin so that you can price more competitively in this space. So let's look at another real life example of this, component stock-ups. So step one here is to determine which areas of the supply chain have costly or time-consuming steps. In our analysis with our clients, we find that one of the most immediate boosts to margin is buying actually packaging in bulk ahead of time. Step two is then to identify opportunities to decrease those inefficient areas, whether that's cost or time. And while there might be other subcomponents of your products that you could buy ahead of time, purchasing packaging is very easy to do and typically a really easy way to do this because it doesn't require a whole lot of space. So you don't have to worry about the trade-off between storage costs or buying in bulk. And it also doesn't typically expire. So it's something that if you need to buy it in bulk for 4 months, it's not an issue. And then step three here is to apply capital. So purchasing packaging in bulk, whether that's boxes, sleeves, inserts, it's just one of the easiest ways to increase efficiency without increasing your costs and achieving economies of scale. So this example is, of course, packaging, but this can often be done in other areas as well. So really think about, hey, what's my product type and what subcomponents of my product are there, and really analyze if there's ways to make costs or time more efficient, even down to the subcomponent level. So moving on to the third analysis here, expansion analysis. So this is essentially identifying which marketplaces or product launches you may have been holding back on due to capital restraints. This can be anything from new product launches to product variations or launching in entirely new marketplaces or even international expansion. And this analysis is important because continuing to grow catalogs is one of the, if not the fastest path to revenue growth. as you introduce more products, you're developing your brand, but you're also making there more opportunities for sales. And that's really one of the ways that I've seen in my experience, brands grow really quickly by continuing to launch variations and new products. But one big mistake that I do also see often, and that we see often at Yardline, is expanding too rapidly. So it's important that you're really taking into account, are my existing products and marketplaces fully optimized, or would extending to a new marketplace require me to take some resources away from that in a way that's inefficient? So we'll get into that in the analysis a bit more, but that's something that should always be considered as well. So for this example, we'll review marketplace expansion. So step one is to identify if your products are a fit for the new marketplace. So really looking at, hey, is this marketplace somewhere that my customers and my target audience is shopping? Does my product really have a fit here? Because not all marketplaces are great fits for all products. So don't just launch in a new marketplace to do it. For example, Amazon, we work really heavily with Amazon clients, and I have some experience personally with Amazon as well. And I will say that not all products are a great fit. For example, if you sell really luxury watches and you think that you want to launch on Amazon, you'll be competing with a really saturated, low cost market. And it just might not be an efficient marketplace for you to be on. So step one is identifying, is this marketplace a fit given my brand and my product type, my pricing, and my audience? And that will kind of lead you forward to be successful once you really have done your due diligence on that. Step two is then to determine the level of investment required. So this includes both the level investment of time and capital. So really determining how much time and money is going to be required to launch into this new marketplace. Can I take some of resources from my existing marketplaces and products and apply that strategy to the new marketplace? But really determining the time and money that's going to go into the launch is very important. And then step three, of course, apply capital. So use the capital to launch in a new marketplace without having to worry about stealing resources away from your existing successful channels. And that's really a great part of growth capital, is that you can really do these new opportunities without worrying about cannibalizing or taking resources away from the parts of your business that are already performing well. So that's expansion analysis. Now over to the fourth analysis, advertising optimization. So after you analyze individual products, the business, and the marketplaces, then you can look at how to optimize advertising across those three levels. And this is important because advertising is a great way to spark immediate growth and scale, but only so long as it's efficient and you're yielding a high ACoS or a low ACoS and a high ROAS. And for those of you who don't know, your advertising cost of sales, your ACoS, so you don't want that to be super high. Otherwise, your cost of acquiring your customer is extremely costly, and ROAS is obviously the return. So first, in order to do this, you really want to make sure that advertising is efficient, because no matter how you're allocating the capital or how you're applying the capital, whether it's to supply chain or advertising or marketing, if the advertising piece of it is not efficient, you're not going to see the return that you want. So when you're really looking at your efficiency and your advertising mix, whether it's post capital or in preparation for capital, you want to, one, check in on your pacing, make sure that you're pacing efficiently, that you have a healthy ACoS and ROAS, and that you would determine, hey, if I were to then invest in advertising, what marketplaces would be the best to do that, which we'll talk about a bit later. But obviously this is very important because advertising is a really quick way to boost sales if it's done efficiently. And on Amazon specifically, once you boost sales, that's helping with longer term rank, SEO, reviews, etc. So while pouring fuel on the fire and investing more in those advertising strategies that are already performing well, it's also important to analyze how to utilize capital to test new advertising strategies. So similar to the previous analysis, you want to find that balance between I've already optimized my existing advertising and now I'm going to use growth capital to then test new strategies. So step one here is to identify your target audience. So basically apply what you already know from your previous strategies or channels, but tweak it slightly. Step two is then to create a channel specific strategy and determine what success looks like for that new channel. This is very important because if you don't know what success looks like for the channel, you can't really create a strategy that will be successful. So if you don't know what success looks like for that, or if it's not something that you can handle on your own, whether it's a new strategy, a new channel, there are a few different ways that you can address that. So you can address it through doing your own personal research, utilizing your network, through partnerships, or through hiring. We'll talk about that a bit more in the next analysis. But it's really just critical to understand what success looks like before you implement any new advertising strategy. And then step three is to apply capital. So again, capital is great because you can diversify that media mix without taking away from what's already giving you a really great return. And then the fifth and final analysis here is partnerships and staffing. So there are a lot of back office processes such as graphic design, customer service, sourcing, product research, that are often inefficient and pretty costly. So it's important to identify if there's room for improvement with current partners or an opportunity to bring new partners on to increase efficiency. Because obviously you want to have the most efficient business possible, because then when you're applying the capital to it, you'll have the highest return. And if there are areas of inefficiencies, identifying how you can address those, whether bringing someone on or outsourcing, is going to be really important to get you that full return. So at Yardline, we have a Rolodex of vetted partners in various spaces, from 3PLs to warehouses to advertising or fee auditing. So I recommend that you do that as well and really go through the practice of knowing what partnerships do I currently have? Is there room to optimize those partnerships? And what areas do I not have partnerships or staffing in that I need additional help with? Because having strong partners that can really grow with you makes the daily operations and day-to-day growth just so much easier and sustainable long-term. So looking at this in practice, in this final example here, we'll analyze whether to hire or partner. So the first step here is to identify the area of the inefficiency. So this might be marketing, supply chain, operations. It can really be in any area, but step one is to identify what's inefficient and what specific inefficiency area it is located in. And step two is then to gather information and weigh your options. So it's important to understand your business phase and needs. So do you need access to more data? Do you need to just be able to visualize your process better? Are you running out of warehouse space, or do you just need more hands-on keyboards to complete the day-to-day? Asking yourself this, as well as whether or not you have the time and resources to train a new employee if they do come on, or if it's better to outsource, is something that you should be asking yourself in this step here. And then step three, as always, apply capital. In either case, hiring or partnering to address a business need is important, because it's just going to make you that much more efficient and help you get the highest ROI and just address an inefficient area of your business. Now that we've really gone over all of the analyses and what they are and how we apply them with our clients, and how you guys can apply them with your own business, let's just take a quick look at how they've actually impacted some of our real life clients. So this example is Willow and Grace. They are a family-owned business that designs, manufactures completely on their own, and sells beautiful handcrafted shelves on both Amazon and Shopify. And when working with us, their primary goal was new product launches, which we talked a little bit about earlier. And when we conducted our analyses with them, we really looked at 3 different areas. So we wanted to look at how they could really launch the products most efficiently, and covered some guidance in pricing, some guidance in advertising, and some guidance in COGS and supply chain. So here's 3 examples that really illustrate, in addition to what we've already talked about, how these analyses can actually be applied in practice. And the results that we saw were phenomenal. So they saw a 35% increase in revenue month over month, and exceeded their forecasted sales pace by 26%. And then here's just a little quote from them highlighting how this process works when we specifically work with clients like them. But hopefully this gave you just a little bit more information about what you should be analyzing when looking for the best possible return on your capital. But you can do these things both prior to funding or after funding. I just recommend really looking at all of these areas. Are going to help you longer term have a sustainable business with the best possible return. So then we can go into some Q&A if anyone has any questions.
Thank you so much, Anna. Super comprehensive, really, really insightful. I think, sorry to be so rude, but given timing, I think we're going to skip Q&A, but I'm going to just make a couple of points if that's okay. Love the key piece around don't expand too rapidly. I think we see that a lot with e-commerce businesses on Flipper that go very, very hard spending on Facebook, spending on Google, and haven't necessarily gone and optimized either the site or that spend for ROAS performance, return on ad spend performance. So I love that piece of wisdom there. And then, asking yourself whether the existing products and marketplaces are perfectly optimized before you go and consider new. We see a lot of people say, oh, I'm on Amazon and I'm just about to go to Walmart as well. And it would be worthwhile thinking about the timing in which you did that and making sure that that's right. And then, of course, going direct versus the marketplace play. I think that's a really important consideration as well. So thank you so much for a really, really comprehensive presentation. Really appreciate your time today. And no doubt people got a lot out of it. Thanks again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.